Well, Brian, it is such a pleasure to talk to you today about Big Break NFL. It's been an amazing 5 episodes so far, and you've been front and center in all of them. But before we get there, let's talk about you, your golf career, your history with the Big Break. Just tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Well, obviously, first and foremost, I mean, I extreme debt of gratitude to NBC, Golf Channel, and Big Break for the opportunity that they've given me. You know, and it's something I'll never be able to, you know, repay. As far as me and my career, you know, I've been playing for quite a long time. Aside from the NFL guys on the current show, you know, I'm the oldest guy on the show by probably 15 years or so. So it's, you know, it's an honor to be able to be picked for the show once. I've always said being picked for the show once was a pinch me moment, and you know, to get picked twice, it's kind of somebody's telling you that somewhere along the line you did something right. So it's an extreme pleasure to be part of it. But you know, it's been Big Break's been very good to me. It's opened up a lot of doors for me. It's given me some great opportunities, and it's a unique forum for us who don't have status to be able to display our talents and play. And you know, I've told many of the other big breakers that this is such a special fraternity, and that we all need to be there for one another. It's just a really small family, and it's you know, I'm privileged and honored to be a part of it for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I know you played hockey and baseball in your past. You were a big breaker on the Greenbrier series, and you stayed right through to the 8th episode, which is really good. Before coming into this show, how much of an NFL fan were you?
Oh, I'm a diehard NFL fan. I mean, I'm born and raised in Pittsburgh, you know, and people know Pittsburgh has more Super Bowls than any other city. So I take that extremely, I'm proud of that. I think most people in Greenbrier saw that I wore a Steeler belt buckle the entire time and had the terrible towel, you know, towel on my bag, and, you know, went so far as recently after Big Break NFL, I went home and got a little bit more artwork done on my right arm, and it constitutes the entire city. It's all about the entire city. It's, you know, does the landscape of the city, and it has all 3 logos of the major sports teams in Pittsburgh: the Penguins, Pirates, and Steelers. But the Steelers logo is the one that is pretty prominent, and you see a lot more than the others. So for me, being a Pittsburgher, one thing is special, and to be a Steeler fan is even more. And not a lot of people know that recently, you know, between Big Break, NFL, and NBC, I was chosen by Mr. Rooney of Steelers to start the terrible towel twirl before the Sunday night game against the Bears, and that was an amazing honor and privilege that the Steelers organization gave to me.
Yeah, well, that's amazing. Yeah, I actually think I saw a picture of that online somewhere. So when you started the first day on the Big Break NFL and you saw all those NFL players showing up and Chris Doleman walked up to your team, what were you thinking?
You know, for me, it was that moment was pretty cool because, you know, I grew up a Pitt football fan, and Chris played football at Pitt, not a Vikings fan, so. Not that I didn't care about his career in the NFL, but, you know, I think the line for me and the connection was more that he was a Pitt player. And, you know, that was pretty cool. I mean, you know, anybody who grew up a Pitt fan knows all the best players that ever played for Pitt, and, you know, he surely was an outstanding player at the University of Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, you've had some real high moments on the show, and so let's focus on some of those. You've got 5 episodes. You hit some great shots. You've made some great friends. Just tell me, at this point in the show, what we're seeing, what have been your high points?
Obviously, the high points, one is definitely being picked for the show. Aside from that, the actual competition-wise of the show, you know, I think the last episode, I think I proved to a lot of hit a clutch shot when it's needed, unlike what somebody says that I can't handle the pressure. It sure does look like I can. So, and I think the day that we had the long drive competition, I mean, I don't think that, you know, I hit 1:3:07, and TV didn't do a little bit of didn't do it all justice because, I mean, it was pretty windy, and, you know, I felt really good about that. So, you know, I felt very happy that I was able to help the team and to keep us alive and support, Chris and Shannon.
Yeah. Did you know Shannon before this show?
We knew casually through just the fact of, we call it the Big Break family, and Twitter and Facebook and all that, but we hadn't been, social friends, and but Shannon and I developed a pretty unique friendship, and she's like a little sister to me now. There's nothing in the world I wouldn't do for her. I think she's a great golfer, but I think she's a better person.
Yeah. Well, everybody wants to know, what's it really like being on Team Doleman? Is it really as bad as it looks like on TV, or is this just basically reality TV?
Wow. I hate to say it, but you don't get to see it. It's probably worse. I have to admit, it's extremely tumultuous, to say the least. A lot of things that you don't get to see on camera that are going on while other teams are playing or whatever. It's tough, and I feel bad more so for Shannon, young girl. And she doesn't deserve that, and it's tough. I'm not gonna lie, it's very high stress, and up through this episode, we had no idea what we were getting each day, and I wish it had been a little different. Unfortunately, it's not, and this is the way the cookie crumbles, and you just gotta be. You got to be professional about it, and try to keep your head about you, and do your best, and play hard. And I think Shannon and I are doing that currently up to this point. So it's it's a good thing. It's nice to have a teammate that you can rely on.
Yeah. Well, we're certainly seeing, the drama on the course and some of the things that are being said and stuff, but I was wondering what's happening when the day is over. Do you guys just run for your rooms and try to avoid him at all costs, or do you have strategy meetings? What do you do?
It's, unfortunately, it's not that simple. When the day's over, we have interviews. So, and the interviews are done as a team. Dinner's done as a team. Dinner's done as an entire group. So there's really no running or hiding, and I'm not one to run and hide from anything. So it is what it is. I mean, we have to sit there and face the music, and that's just what it is.
Well, you took some flack from viewers when you threw your club after the flop shot, and it certainly seemed out of character for you. So I'm just wondering, what was going on through your mind that would actually instill you to do that?
It was actually, honestly, I think people took it totally the wrong way. It was more comical than anything for me because, going into a big break, you never know what's going to happen. But, I knew the flop wall at some point was going to be part of the show. So I was thinking I was being a smart guy and saying, oh, well, bring the 64-degree wedge because, you'll have the flop wall. And, you're only taking that club for that shot, but, yeah, take it. And to be honest, it just wasn't the right choice. I'd never used a 64-degree wedge in my life. I mean, my deepest wedge is a 58, and I guess it was a little bit frustrating to not do as well. But I was more mad at myself for using a club that I've never used before in my life, and it was a club that I would never use once I got home, and it was just, it wasn't. Definitely, I mean, if you look at the clip, it wasn't out of anger. You didn't hear me yell or scream or say bad words. It just said, like, oh, well, don't need this one anymore, so toss it away.
Yeah.
And and it's funny because some of the other guys are like, oh, my God, I can't believe he threw his lob wedge away. And it's like, let's be real. I mean, I'm not that crazy. I'm not going to throw a club away that I definitely would be using later in the show or, so, no, it wasn't. But honestly, it was more comical than anything. It wasn't meant to be out of anger or anything like that. So I'm sure it came across that way to some people, but that's the power of television. You don't get the chance to be able to really know. So hopefully they'll know now. So.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you have been nailing some shots. And, of course, Chris Doleman is taking all the credit for you being in the zone and all that stuff. And it's just, you hear that on television. Then you see him talking to Jerry Rice and the stupid things that he's saying. And you go, Do you find that you're kind of surprised at how well you're performing under such immense pressure from this guy?
No, I mean, I've always said to people, unlike what Chris thinks. I mean, Chris thinks I can't handle the pressure. But I love the pressure on me. I think I perform better at the highest, at the highest pressure situations. So it doesn't bother me. I mean, Chris doesn't know me well enough to be able to judge what I can and cannot handle. I mean, he's known me at this point on the show for 6 days. That would be it's an unfair criticism for him to be able to say that I cannot handle something. That'd be like me trying to critique his NFL career and say, well, there was an offensive lineman that you could never beat. I mean, it'd be unfair for me to pass that judgment upon somebody. So he is who he is. I think people are starting to see some of that, and he can say whatever he wants to me. I'm a grown man. I don't care. It don't bother me. I mean, I grew up with 4 older brothers who picked on me and taught me to be tough. And I grew up a son of a steel mill worker who taught me to be tough. So the things that come out of his mouth, or sometimes as rude as they are and as disrespectful as they are, they're halfway comical to me because, I mean, he thinks he's doing something to me that he has no bearing on. I'm going to hit the shot whether he's forcing me to be mad or not. I'm getting angry with him. I'm getting frustrated with him. But it's more of his disrespect to me and the team. He can say what he wants to me, but it really pisses me off when he says something to a 24-year-old girl who's old enough to be his daughter.
Yeah.
And to me, I wonder how he would feel if a man his age talked to his daughter that way.
Oh, it's a very good point. Yeah. Well, you see Shannon. She looks so discouraged and so. She turns away. She's, the body language is all there. But, the other players are watching this. What are they saying to you guys? Like, what kind of support are you getting from the other players?
I think the other teams they're keeping an arm's length. Yeah, I don't think, and I think they do that just because, not that they don't want to get involved or not that they don't want to feel for us, but it is a team game, and if another team is going to have dysfunction that's going to cost them to lose. I don't know if you're really going to support the team. I mean, I think it's become fully aware that they all understand that what he's doing is wrong and the way he's acting is wrong. But in the same respect, too, I would like to think probably deep down inside they're like, well, oh, man, maybe that'll help us get further than them along in the show. So, but I think they're all appreciative and understanding of what we're going through and how we're performing. And, there's 4 teams with losses and there's 2 without. And I would like to think that at any point up to this point, if people would have seen what was going on without knowing who got a loss, I guarantee they would have probably said we would at least have 1 loss, maybe 2 losses by now with all the dysfunction.
Yeah, well, that says a lot for you guys and your talent. So, and being able to be where you are so far in the series. So we're looking forward to watching the next episodes, I can tell you that. Well, this has been great. Really great. How about any closing remarks? Anything that I didn't ask you that you'd like to talk about? Anything we didn't see you want to share? Just close it up for me there.
I mean, really, to be perfectly honest, I'm just, I'll say this. There was a point during the show, and I think it already passed where Chris had one of his days, and I could see Shannon. She was a mess. She was crying, and it really bothered me as a friend, as a competitor, as her teammate, as someone she now looks up to as her big brother, and it bothered me. And I looked at her and I said, all these other teams are teams of 3. You got 3 battles each day when you go out there. The NFL guy, you got to, there's going to be a winner between the NFL's guys. There's going to be winners between the females, and there's going to be winners between males. And I said, those teams, and I said, they all have 3 players. I said, you and I have to buckle down and understand that this is probably a 2-person team right now. And we have to handle our business because we have no idea what he's going to do. And it's unfortunate to think that way, but, I mean, I think his behavior up to this point, has proven that we never know what we're going to get. So the only thing we can really count on is ourselves, and it's important to do that. Now, aside from everything else, I have the utmost respect for Chris Doleman as an NFL player and a Hall of Famer. That speaks volumes for his ability to play football. Off the golf course, I don't know what I can say because I really never got the chance to know him because of everything that went on. So it would be unfair for me to give any kind of assessment on who he is as a person because I never got the chance to meet him. So.
Yeah, I guess you just saw the really highly competitive side of him, and it came out in ways that doesn't come out with other teams that way. But everybody's different. So anyway, Brian, this has been terrific, and I'm so happy that you took the time to talk to me today. I hope we can talk after next week's show, and really looking forward to watching it and seeing you nail those shots and show everybody that you are the guy who's shooting in the 60s now on tour. And best of luck to you. So. Thanks again.
I appreciate it, and I'm always here to be able to talk to you if you need to. So thanks again.
Great. Okay, you take care. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye.